Hey guys, my name is Andrew Cooley and you might know me as a property auctioneer. Now, I conduct loads of auctions right across Sydney all throughout the year, but today, as I mentioned in our first podcast, this is top of the game. And for our second speaker, I'm going to be interviewing Nicholas Haywood from Nicholas Haywood Jewellery Concierge. Now, just behind me in this building here at number 185 Elizabeth Street is one of the most unassuming jewelers right upstairs on level 9. So without any further ado, let's go talk to Nicholas Haywood from Nicholas Haywood Jewellery Concierge. Mate, how good is this studio?
Well, you know what? We love it. Well, we call it the gallery now, as you know.
You do. Sorry, mate. I'm calling it the studio, but it should be called the gallery.
But mate, you've been a client to me or a friend since it was a studio downstairs.
To me, this is, this is like home.
I love
Remember I texted you the other day, you put up a photo of these windows and I actually said to you, I go, mate, how good?
I know.
And you said to me, mate, the best. And I said to you, mate, it's one of my favourite places. Remember that?
I do remember. And you know what? I might move this a bit closer, should I? Yeah. That sort of, mate, that text makes my day. Seriously. And I've said it to the girls since we moved in here from level 2 up. We're on level 2 for 13 years and we've obviously been up here for just over a year.
Level 2 was great too, though.
It was great, but also was the beginning of it was the beginning of us. It was the beginning of what we wanted to start and create.
Mate, do you know?
What we could afford when we started.
Yeah, but do you know what though? Remember Kate and I first came in?
Yes.
Now, we were referred to you from a friend of Kate's.
Yes.
When I was going to propose to Kate.
Yep.
And I remember ringing you, right? G'day, mate. How you going?
I know.
Just a good bloke, mate.
Oh, well,
really
thank you.
Good bloke.
But you know what? I grew up in the country New South Wales.
Yep.
When you went for a walk in the morning or you walked down the main street, you would say hello.
Yeah.
Or you'd say, g'day, mate. Or you'd say whatever it was because that's what you did. Even one of my kids was here the other day. Well, both of my beautiful children were here the other day and I took my daughter up to a supplier up because of school holidays up in King Street. And we got almost there. She goes, Daddy, you've said hello to however many people. I said, because I said half of them I knew and half I didn't. But I love the idea. I love people and I want to say hello.
You know what? Like it's that country vibe, right? Like, so just to give our audience a bit of an idea of our relationship, some of our best work is done at lunches or, or dinners or over a glass of wine.
That's right.
And we were just downstairs at probably one of your favourite restaurants, which is Bambini Trust.
Yes.
And what I found really interesting was, we were there for probably about half an hour, 45 minutes, and mate, there must have been 5, 6 people walk past, and you're like, hey, mate, g'day, mate, hey, mate. Like, you just seem to know everyone in the CBD.
Yeah, you know what, I don't, but I pride myself on relationships and not for it's not even a sales motivation. I love talking to people and hearing everyone's story because you know what? You have good days and bad days, as do I. People are I love talking to, it sounds funny, human beings who are living and have their own story to tell.
Yeah.
It's like any piece of jewellery. It has its story to tell. And with people that I meet on the street, I mean, I've been working in the city for 20-odd years, in the city of Sydney. I never forget a face, maybe a name, but never a face.
It's a real talent of yours, isn't it?
Well, it's something that comes really naturally to me. And I really appreciate where everybody has come from.
Yeah. And
their background. And that life can be beautiful and amazing, but there can be down days. And I love to view people and talk to them. Yeah. I really and for no other motivation that I want to hear everyone's story.
Yeah. When Kate and I first came and we both sat in front of you, you asked a lot of questions, and that's what made me feel really comfortable, right? So when we first met,
yes,
you were asking about, what did I do for work? Where did I grow up? A lot of questions that, like a lot of people don't normally ask.
Mm.
You know, like you really took the time to get to know me, to get to know Kate. And I feel like by you asking all those sort of questions, it actually influenced the design we chose when we chose Kate's wedding ring, which was great.
And I remember, I still remember the day, but I don't remember the conversation.
Yep.
But
Oh, I do, because you were wearing a Yachtmaster 2.
best watch ever. Seriously, I've never had so many comments on a watch. I'd have people come up to me in the street, and it wouldn't have mattered whether it was a Rolex or a Timex or anything.
Yep.
People go, wow, I love that, your watch, the blue and the white.
Yeah.
They love the way
And that
it's a
two-tone, the
wonderful
rose
design.
gold.
And yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah, that was I remember that when you came in, we hit it off. Obviously, our friendship's grown since then.
Yep.
Dramatically, because of we've found again, and this is what I always say, we are compatible with each other in the sense of having a wine, and obviously now talking together.
Yep.
But in custom jewelry design, you have a need or a want,
Yep.
and I can fulfill that, and you
Yep.
have confidence in what we do.
Well, you know what? You and I talk a lot about work, and we talk about the pressures of work, you know,
Yes.
because as you said before, like we have good days where everything's going great.
Yep.
You know, you're killing it. Things are fantastic. Then you have those other days where anything that could go wrong goes wrong.
Right.
But I've always found for me, you know, coming into your design gallery it's kind of like it's a release from my day-to-day work.
Right.
Because I walk into your door, I get in the lift, I come upstairs, level 9, we come through the door, and mate, what always really strikes me about you and about Georgia and Anya and Bang is the energy, right? You walk in here, man, and it is just pumping with energy. I'm not talking loud music. I'm not talking that. I'm talking like you're all on,
Yes.
you know, and you know, it's almost like when I talk to you about, you know, if we're doing a piece, and we've done
Some amazing pieces.
lots of pieces
Amazing
now
pieces.
over the years, right? But, you know, it's kind of like for you make me feel like it's Christmas Day. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting this amazing present from Santa.
And it's funny because with what you and I have done, you're not getting it generally straight away.
No.
We sit down, we discuss, we custom making it.
Yep.
There's a
It's
wait.
a process.
There's a process.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that, right? But before we talk about all the process stuff, you know, I always find when I talk to top performers like you, Nicholas Haywood, you've got this amazing business, but mate, it didn't just happen overnight, right? So
No.
can I take you back to the beginning? Okay, I want to take you back. You mentioned before that you didn't grow up in Sydney. You weren't
Yep.
from the CBD.
Yep.
You're from humble beginnings. Tell me a bit about you. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Give me a bit of a rundown.
Mate, I was born on the Gold Coast. My father's from England. My mother was living on the Gold Coast.
He was born in England,
He was born in England, yeah.
migrated to Australia.
Yes. So he's a school teacher. Look, we certainly don't have a close relationship. I haven't spoken to him in a long time, that's hard. I'm a father now, and he and I didn't see eye to eye for many years. So that's something that, it's. I wish I had a great relationship with him. I don't, but that's life. That happens sometimes in families.
Yep.
So when I was 4 years old, we went from the Gold Coast, and my father was a school teacher. And we moved to a little town or a village between Gundagai and Tumut called Brungle.
Where's that?
So Brungle, it's southwest slopes. It's have you heard of Gundagai, Dog in the Tucker Box, Tumut, Festival of the Falling Leaf, one of the great festivals.
Yeah.
We lived, Brungle, I think there's a population of, I don't know, it was 100 people.
100 people. That's it.
Yeah, it may not even be that. And you know what? We lived in the schoolhouse next to the school.
When you say schoolhouse, what does that mean?
So because my father was a teacher, there's the Department of Education will give a teacher who's moved from somewhere to go somewhere else
Right. Accommodation.
And we lived there, and you know what? It was great. It was great. I went to Brungle Public School. Still one of my great friends, Debbie Morton or Debbie Vanderite. She's in Wagga. I think there was 4 kids in kindergarten. And I grew up, there was a footy field in the backyard. There was horses in the next yard.
How good.
Yeah, we moved into Gundagai. I went to Gundagai Public School. Great friends. Friends I still talk to today. In Gundagai. Gundagai's a town of 2,500 people.
Wow.
And there's some, some of the most beautiful country in Australia.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And mate, I loved it. And then look, when my parents got divorced, we went to Wagga, which obviously my mum had to work.
Yep.
She was already working, but she got some work in Wagga, and we moved to Wagga, and that would have been 1994, I think.
Okay.
And Wagga's a great place. Wagga's like the biggest inland city in New South Wales.
What like population roughly?
I think Wagga's about 60-odd thousand people, but the surrounding areas would be another 40-odd thousand.
Sure.
But Wagga's great. Great sports people come from Wagga. Obviously,
Some of the
I'm
best
not one
NRL
of them. Yeah,
players.
And just like cricketers, footy players, and just a great, like Georgie, who works here with us, she's my wife's cousin. I remember watching her dad, Mark. He had the Ford dealership in Wagga. I remember as a kid in Brungle watching him on TV spruiking the Ford dealership. It's a great town. You know what? Look, I went to high school there, Coringal High, wonderful high school, great friends.
Yep.
I got a part-time job when I was 14 and 9 months old at Golo, one of the wonderful,
How
one
good's
of the,
Golo?
one of the great
Remember
discount
Golo?
stores of our generation. I think they're broke now.
They're not around anymore.
I don't
are they?
think so.
Yeah,
Funnily enough,
I remember
Anya
Golo.
as well, who works here, she was at Golo at, where were you, Dole? Liverpool or Bonnyrigg? Bonnyrigg Plaza, one of the
What are
great
the chances
plazas.
of that?
Amazing.
You know what I mean? Like, Anya's been here now for 12 years?
12 years.
12 years. And you both actually worked at Golo.
Golo. I was at Golo Wagga, but then our school captain, I think she was a school captain, she was Kirsty. She worked at Angus and Coote Jewellers in Wagga.
Yep.
And she came over to Golo one Thursday night when I was packing shelves, and she said, Nick, they want a boy to come and work here, a young guy, work in the jewellery shop. And I was about 16 by that stage.
That would be a bit unusual.
It was. No,
Right?
it really was.
Like, I'm talking like a small country town.
Yep. This is 25 years ago.
Right? You're working at Golo.
Yep.
For a young guy, 14, 9 months,
Yep.
to go work at a jewellery shop, was that common? Or?
It was not common at all. And I think that's why they wanted to have a young guy in there, because we would sell, look, back then, 9-carat gold gate bracelets with a little heart on the end. Big seller for Angus and Coote. But also a bigger seller was down there was a RAF base and an army base. And they're still around today, but G-Shock watches.
Oh, the G-Shock.
The G-Shock.
You could throw them out of your window.
Throw them out of the window, they
Level
bounce
9,
back up, you grab them up, put them back on.
Not a
Keep in
scratch.
perfect time. The Yachtmaster Rolex would be,
Yeah,
the
see you
bus
later.
would have run it over. But that was one of the great things. So all the army guys would come in on a Saturday, and I would sell them the G-Shock watches.
They love
I was
the
6 and I was like, how good is this?
Yeah.
I'm flying.
And are you making commission per sale, or
You know
are
what?
you flat wage?
No,
or?
at Angus and Coote, you did get a commission. Yeah, you did.
Okay.
And
Did you have
Small.
the same, like when I think of you now, right? Like to me, Nick, outside of like you and I are great mates, but I've said this before, like to me, you're like the ultimate salesman, right? Like we talk about gifts that we're given at birth. Yeah. You and I have spoken about this, gifts from God. Your gift, and I've always said this to you, mate, you sell ice to an Eskimo, right? Back then, are you just like, boys, how good's the G-Shock? Look at the G-Shock. What about the G-Shock? And they're just loving it.
you know what, Matt, I don't look. It's funny. It's funny when you say that, and I appreciate the sentiment. But for me, when I would always think, oh, you're a salesman, it would be like you're just trying to sell at whatever cost.
Yeah.
And that is true probably back then. But I always cared about, I don't think that G-Shock suited you.
Yeah.
Or I don't think, even now with jewelry, I was like, no, it's not for you.
Yeah.
And I've probably talked myself out of a lot of money
Yeah.
by being really honest in my delivery. But
Yeah.
back then, it was probably a bit easy because what did everyone want with the G-Shock? It was the size of it, the colour of it, and everyone was getting one because it was bomb-proof. Well, not bomb-proof, but it
Yes.
was really
So for these
hard
guys,
wearing.
it was perfect.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
And mate, every Saturday afternoon it was great. But I worked from 14 to 9 months, every Thursday night, 5 till 9, Saturday 9 till 5, Sunday 10 till 4. My whole high school career.
So you're at school Monday to Friday,
Yep.
plus you're working this gig.
Yes. And I mean, look, I'm not an academic. My whole family is, everyone's got a degree or two. I couldn't concentrate in class. I couldn't even sit down. If I'm reading something in class, I'd get really anxious.
Yep.
I couldn't focus.
Okay.
But when I was in front of somebody else explaining about a wonderful product that I believed in,
Yeah.
I
Mate, I reckon that's key, isn't it?
well,
You know, like-
without a doubt.
Believing in the product. And that
Yes.
certainly has shone through with everything you sell now.
Yeah. But
know?
believing in the product for you, the person.
Yes.
Not the customer, the person.
So it's not so much, okay, I've got this beautiful tennis bracelet, but you know what? It actually doesn't suit you.
Yes.
So I don't want to sell it to you.
You
Or
know
not-
what?
You know what I mean?
All right,
Like-
so
like
let's
I-
find
it's
an
like-
alternative. Like I had a mate of mine, we had a few really good mates of mine. We had lunch the other day and they all came back here for a drink after lunch, and my mate put a tennis
I
bracelet
can
on.
imagine that's dangerous, right?
You know,
Like,
yeah. But you know what? The
you're
tennis bracelet
downstairs,
suited him.
few drinks,
Oh,
come
yeah.
upstairs.
Oh, yeah. And
Hey
it was,
guys, take a look.
well, you know what? The guys were like, let's go back to the gallery
Yeah.
and let's just try on jewelry. And I was
But
like,
you know what?
what?
Mate,
This
no,
is something that would never
But
used
mate,
to happen.
This is you know, and I said this to you before, right? Mate, this is the feeling that you give people when they come into your gallery. Like we're sitting here now, and we're obviously doing a podcast, right? But I feel like you and I are sitting downstairs right now at Bambini,
Yeah.
or are we at Woodcut, or
Yes.
Kingsley's, or whatever,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Like you're the kind of guy that is just so natural that people just want to be in your space, you know. And you've got this beautiful gallery here on Elizabeth Street. So it doesn't. I'm not surprised that they go, you know what? Let's go back upstairs.
Yeah,
you know?
and but like you touched on before, and it's true, I've got a wonderful team. Like seriously,
yeah,
we've always been a small team.
yeah.
Anya's been here for 12 years. She's one of my best
I
friends.
feel like
you know,
Anya's like the backbone
without
of
a
the
doubt.
business. You know
Without
what I
a
mean?
doubt.
Like,
Well, she always finds things. She found this gallery.
yeah.
I didn't find it.
Really,
She found it.
really. Wow,
Because
okay.
Anya is very similar to me in that sense. She was talking to one of the builders who was working in the building. They said, oh, you should come and have a look at level 9. It's amazing. We've just stripped it out. So Anya came and took a look, came down and said to me in level 2, in our studio downstairs, you might want to come and have a look at level 9. I think you'll really like it. Came up, I went down. I didn't even talk to Anya again. Went straight down to Amanda, our building manager, and said, can I lease this space?
I remember what it was that sold you.
The windows.
The windows.
Yeah. They're amazing.
How good are the windows?
They are so, like, really? And it's funny, these windows, obviously, this building was built, I think, in 1924, was completed. I mean, that's the end of the First World War. Richard Luton from Canberra in here the other day, he had the window, he commented on the windows. It used to be his logo for his business. The windows they're a real, and of course you remember play school when we were kids. There was all these windows, and that's one of them.
good.
The arch. But really, when we moved in here, this was a big thing. But also going back to what we were discussing when I left Angus and Coote, and I came to Sydney, because Angus and Coote sent me to Sydney.
Oh, right. Now,
As
that's something I actually wanted to ask you, right? How did you make the transition to come to the Big Smoke? So they actually sent you here.
Well, it's funny, when I was at Angus and Coote in Wagga, I again, wasn't an academic at all. My area manager at Angus and Coote said to me, would you like to come to Sydney and work as a trainee manager? It'll be amazing.
How old are you at this stage?
I would have been 17.
Okay.
Or maybe, no, I would have been 18.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah. And I remember asking my mum, I said, Mum, what should I do? She said, I think you should do that. And I'd been offered a job by a local jeweller in Wagga, and I told my mum, and she said, no, go to Sydney and I'll drive. She drove me to Sydney. We went to Moore Park Super Centre. She bought me a bed and bedside table.
You leased an apartment or something?
No,
or?
I went and lived with my cousin Andrew in Erskineville. My cousin I'm really close to, and he's like a big brother. He's such a great bloke, really good bloke. And we lived in Erskineville, and I just rented a room from him, and it was great. But then, you know what? Angus and Coote, where I was in Sydney, wasn't like in Wagga. It was just different. And I had this.
You're dealing with a different clientele, right?
No, it wasn't even that. It was the feeling in Wagga. It was like someone's. I've got to say, maybe this is a country thing. It was like someone's small business, Angus and Coote in Wagga. Whereas in the city, there was a lot of stores, a lot of staff turnover.
Right.
And it just wasn't as good.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Angus and Coote, if you're listening, it just wasn't as good. And
the Wagga store was better.
Wagga store was better. But you know what? I met a woman. Rose Cantali was her name. She would come in and buy Swarovski crystal pieces. Back then, Swarovski they're selling a lot of jewellery now, but they'd sell all little ornaments back then. Okay. And people would buy them. Anyway, she would always buy them. And she said to me one day, she said, "Oh, Nicholas, you've only been here a few months, but I've bought 10 ornaments from you or something." She didn't say you're too good for this place, but she said, "Have you ever thought about going somewhere else, going to another jeweller's? You should go to Chironi. Nick Chironi in Leichhardt. That's where I buy my jewellery." And I said, "I've heard of them. They're unbelievable."
That's more top end sort of.
Absolute biggest 5-star jeweller in Australia.
Okay.
And award-winning jewellers. And anyway, I said, "Oh, you know what? It's funny. I saw an ad in the paper for a job. I was just going to go there."
How good's that?
And ring the doorbell.
Ad in the paper.
Ad in the paper.
You don't see that anymore, do you?
When do you see an ad in the paper now?
You got to jump on Seek or LinkedIn.
Back then it was the classifieds.
How good.
And anyway, she said, "Well, Nicholas, if you go there and ask for a job," because I said, "I might just go there and ask for a job." She said, "If you do that, I'm going to ring him, tell him that I think you're very, very good, give you a reference." I said, "Would you do that?" Like so you've got sounds so simple.
You've got this great customer.
Yes.
Who says, "You know what? Go for the job."
Yep.
I'm going to ring them.
Yep.
And say, "This guy's the goods."
And I'm 18 years old. Fresh out of Wagga.
And you're going straight into that.
Right. So I went down there.
Like, first of all, can we just acknowledge that for a moment? Like, to get a gig there at 18, I would think is pretty rare, right?
Yeah, probably. Oh, well, yes and no. Nick Chironi was great at developing staff from a young age.
Okay.
He was very good. He'd give anyone a go. And he'd give you, he'd give you a chance. But if you're no good, you're out.
Yes.
But if you could see something in you, and him and his wife, they're just great people. And, I remember going there, and it's funny, the day that I went there, the HR lady, Anita, was off sick that day or was away that day or interstate. And I got to be interviewed by Nick Chironi, the boss, which was like,
so
he was like the god of the industry.
Are you freaking out at this stage?
I was
is this like you're meeting the heaviest of the heavies?
I was meeting the godfather of diamonds in Australia, probably the most successful person in Australia in this industry.
Do we need a top up?
I think we do, yeah. We need a couple of rip-ons. Arns, can we get the old rip-on over?
Yeah.
Might rip into a rip-on.
Because you know what, Nick, sorry, I apologise for interrupting you, but mate, a lot of our friendship has been developed over a bottle of wine. And that's why I love talking to you so much, right? Just a quick cheers.
Cheers.
Mate. Cheers, good day.
Cheers, mate. How good's everything?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I remember Nick saying to me, he interviewed me and he was listening to me and he's looking at me like, I think he could see how excited I was to be there. I wasn't nervous.
Yeah.
Because you're young, 18 years old.
See, I would have been nervous.
Yeah.
But you weren't. You were just...
Oh, look, I probably was nervous, but I wasn't like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. I thought I had nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah. And what a great way to think of it, right? Because I actually feel like you've taken that motto throughout your whole career. I've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
It's 100% right. And it works in good ways and bad ways. But like it's, when I met him, he said, and he's looking at me like, all right, can you go and see my wife? She's in the city store. I want you to go there.
Had he sort of given you the thumbs up at this point?
I think so.
Okay, so he's interviewed you,
Yeah.
and he says, "I want you to go talk to my wife."
I said to him, I want to work for you. I think I'll be really good here.
Yeah,
I've worked at Angus and Coote Wagga and Burwood.
yeah.
And he's like, all right. But he could tell by, he's a very passionate man.
Yeah.
And again, he's passionate, volatile.
As are you though, Nick. As are you.
Right.
I can even tell the way you're talking now. You're like, this, and you got the hands moving. You know.
Yeah. But it's funny. So I got on the bus on Parramatta Road into the city store and met his wife, Carmela, who was lovely. And I got the job from there. Wow. I remember being in this store going, there was probably, I don't know, there was probably $10 million worth of stock in the window.
Wow.
These huge diamonds but great, forget about even the money value. The designs were just different.
And did that do something for you? Like when you would see these designs, right? And I actually remember watching a podcast of yours or listening to a podcast of yours you did a little while ago, and you spoke about selling, I think you said it was like $250 or $500 pieces in Wagga.
Yep.
To $50,000
That's
pieces
right.
in the city. So when you saw these pieces, were you just like, was there something inside of you that just says, this is where I'm meant to be?
Yeah, you know what?
I love this.
It was amazing, but you know what? I'll tell you something. When I said the dollar value, it had nothing to do with the dollar value. It was the person.
Right.
I was like, wow, I'm selling a ring to someone that I'm not even making that in a year, and they're buying it in one hit. Wow. It's never been about the money. I've never had money in my life. I mean, now obviously these days things are different than they were when I just came from Wagga,
Sure.
but I never thought about jewellery as what it's worth. I respected that client's money in the sense of how do I provide the best value?
Yep.
But I do that now more than ever. But back then I was like, oh my goodness, this person spending 50 grand on a ring. How on earth is that even possible?
Yeah.
And like, who has that sort of money?
Yeah.
Because they weren't at Angus and Coote and Wagga, they weren't spending that sort of money. Whereas up here, but again, I was like, and I genuinely mean it, when that person walks through the door, they don't need jewellery, they want it. But how do I best serve them?
Yes.
Quality first.
It's an interesting point you make. They don't need it, they want it.
This is something
and how do I best serve them?
How do I best serve? I love serving people.
Yep.
Yes, I think I'm a pretty good jewellery designer these days. But my main skill is how do I serve you best? Andrew Cooley or someone who walks through that. How do I serve you best? How do I best look after your needs in here? Jewellery-wise and experience-wise. You can go and buy anything, anytime, anywhere.
Yep.
You can go up to Hermes now and buy something and spend 20 grand or Chanel. And again, this is why we moved up to level 9. I wanted to create a gallery space that you could come in and feel good. Even if you don't buy anything. Come up and view it as a museum of jewellery.
Sitting right now, right? You got these beautiful armchairs. You got this beautiful piece that was custom made for you.
Gino Campanaro.
Campanaro.
A great mate of mine, lives in Adelaide. He came and did it in here.
You know, you got Bang in there. Bang's doing all the hard work. He's doing all the labour.
Seriously, Bang is a genius. Bang is someone I respect so much. We've known each other for 20 years.
At what point did you just say to yourself, you know what? I reckon I could do this myself.
I never did.
Never?
Ever.
So how did Nicholas Haywood Jewellery Concierge, how did this come about then?
I was at Chironi for 9 years or 9.5 years. And
so
I loved
you're
it.
now about 26,
I would have been 20,
27.
when I left, would have been 27.
27, yep.
And you know what? I'd still be there. I still love that business. I don't know, I guess Nick and I probably didn't see eye to eye on a few things, or it's not a long story, but like anything, you're there somewhere for a while and It just happened that I left and, I never thought about having my own business, to be honest, ever. I didn't think it would even be possible. So when I left Chironi, I was getting approached by other businesses, come and work for us or go here or do this, and some to be honest, pretty good offers because of Chironi, I had a good reputation.
Yeah.
People knew me. And then just through friends, I was 27, so I had mates ringing me up saying, I want to get an engagement. Can I get it from you? I was like, I don't even have you can come to my apartment across from Miranda Hotel on the Kingsway if you want. and they did. And then I was like, okay. And then the phone kept ringing, just mates that I knew who were wanting to get engaged or buy themselves something, or a friend of a friend. Again, I talked to everyone in the street. Someone I'd met 10 years ago at the pub.
Yeah.
Nick, I want to buy a ring for myself. Can you help me? I was like, yeah, I can. And then I remember I thought, can I do a business on my own? Ash and I, we didn't have any money. I think we had $4,000 in the bank and a mortgage.
Yep.
And Ash was still working next door at ACP here. And so she would have been 25. And I remember thinking to myself, I'll go to my father-in-law, Ash's father, who I really admire, I really respect. And I know he'll give me the worst case scenario. Won't give me the best.
He'll tell you how it is.
He'll tell me how it is, black and white. And I said, man, I'm thinking to start my own business. He goes, do it. I said, really? I thought you were going to say I shouldn't do it. I said, no, do it. Back yourself in, do it.
Yep.
I think you'll be good. And I was like, wow, okay. Well, then I should do it. And
if
then
he's saying do it, do it.
Yeah. And then I would just meet people in coffee shops around the city.
Yep.
And I had a wonderful mentor, John Clements, would lend me diamonds. He's passed away now, JC, but what a great bloke. He would consign me the diamonds to show people around the city. Meet him in a coffee shop. Might have 100 grand's worth of diamonds. Wow. Say, oh, it's all right, boy. Go and take what you need, and when you sell it, pay me. And I did. And he'd say, oh, go on. He was a great bloke. Anyway, that's how it started. And then we opened up on level 2 here. I was looking for an office somewhere in the city that I could sell jewellery. And there's a few
because you knew it had to be in the city, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you think, okay, this is kind of where...
This is the epicenter of everything.
Yeah.
The heartbeat of Sydney is in the CBD. So I'm wandering around and I met up with a leasing agent. He said, I'll meet you at 185 Elizabeth Street. I didn't know where that was. Of course, it's where we are now. And it was a Friday and he took me in and Bambini was just heaving.
Really?
Heaving.
So, okay, so...
You could smell the partially deboned spatchcock and the cotoletta and the pasta.
For our listeners and our viewers,
yes,
Bambini is...
the restaurant downstairs from where we are now.
Yeah.
Probably, in my opinion, one of the best restaurants in Sydney.
In fact, I often say to you, have you got shares in that place?
Because
you're there like daily almost.
But you know what? I go there sometimes just to purely be inspired.
Yeah.
And be inspired by... So Angela and Michael Potts have had that for, I think it's 27 years.
Wow.
Like
27 years.
Unbelievable.
That's an institution.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but that day it was heaving. And I was like, wow, if I have a business in this building, people will come in and go to Bambini, then they'll come up to me or I can take them down, can buy them a drink.
Yep.
This will add to the experience.
Hang on a second. This routine sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah. yeah. Hello, Andrew. How do you do? But like it was like, it's not just about buying jewelry.
Yeah.
You can buy anything, anywhere, anytime now.
Yeah.
Our business has always been an experience. Mate. The jewelry and Bambini and sitting out looking out over Hyde Park.
For me, as a consumer also of yours, experience is a massive thing, isn't it?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And not only are your customers getting a phenomenal piece, whatever it might be, but they're also getting a phenomenal experience. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the experience, okay? So if someone wants to design a engagement ring, if they want to get a necklace, a bracelet, a ring, give us a bit of an example of what that experience might look like with Nicholas Haywood.
Well, I think the first thing would be that we're very down to earth in here and we genuinely care about the process. And as cliche as that sounds, it comes across when you walk into our door because it wouldn't matter. I really don't care whether someone's spending $100,000 or $1,000. The treatment or the service is the same.
Yeah.
Because you're coming in here with what you can afford to spend on something personal for you. So one thing, and you know this firsthand, if we're designing something, a custom-made piece, we'll sit down together at my desk and we'll talk about life in general.
Yep.
But
so
then
before we even talk about the piece, we're talking about just general life.
Well, just life.
Because you're getting to know the person.
This is not a
getting
transaction. It is not a business transaction.
It's an experience.
Isn't. I believe it is.
Yep.
And I believe we deliver that. Because a business transaction, yes, obviously we are selling a product. There is money exchanged for goods. But the process of what we are doing far outweighs, again, another wonderful saying, hopefully I get this right. Quality is long remembered after the price is forgotten. And, I have people come in, I very rarely get bartered on price. Really. Because you know what? Our experience is good. We offer a wonderful product, quality product at a fair price.
Yep.
And a great experience that goes with it. And again, now Georgie and Anya are contributing to that. Bang's quality is second to none.
Yeah.
So
I reckon he's the best in the business.
Oh, well, without a doubt. Absolutely without a doubt. And you know what? It's funny, in our gallery here where you are now, Georgie's there, Bang's here, Anya's there, I'm over there. And then this is like the centre space.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything is where it should be. We all know our task, which is to provide a wonderful experience for the client.
But you know what?
The quality product is almost, we know that's going to happen.
And mate, that starts the moment you walk in the door, right? Like you get the lift, you come up to level 9, you're out the front of the door, you buzz, you're greeted. Can I get you a coffee? Can I get you a bottle of water?
Yep.
Would you like something a bit stronger?
Yes.
Whatever it is, right?
Yep.
And if you're with the client, you come sit here in these beautiful armchairs, you've got this beautiful space, custom painting. Mate, the whole thing, and I'm looking out to my right-hand side now, I can see the cathedral, I can see all the beautiful trees, and we spoke about these trees downstairs.
Yep.
They've been there for 100+ years,
Has
right?
to be.
The natural light flooding through your gallery, just, mate, even just sitting here right now talking to you, and I said this to you earlier on in the podcast, mate, I feel like this is just where I should be.
Yes.
Right.
But isn't that, I love that you feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
That means we've done something good.
Yeah, and I love coming in. I talk to Georgie, I talk to Anya. Every now and again, Bang will give me a couple of words. He's a man of few he's a man of few words.
Well, he's always so focused.
Right? He's so focused,
Yeah.
right? But the experience is completely different to walking into a franchise jewelry shop.
Yes.
It's completely different. You know what, you cannot, there is not even a slight comparison. And what I've gathered about you is that is 100% authentic.
Yes. Thank you.
Because a number of times you have said to me, and if you don't mind me saying this, I've said to you, mate, how's business, how's work? We talk a lot about that sort of stuff. And you go, mate, I don't even look at the numbers. I go, what do you mean? I said, Nick, you asked me what I wrote in April. I'll be able to tell you, GCI, what it is. I go, what'd you do? I got no idea. And mate, can I tell you, like that really transcends with me, because it goes back to the point that you made, that you're actually not about, you're coming in, you're spending $100,000, you're coming in, you're spending $500. Doesn't matter. You want that person to walk out of here feeling like $1 million, because they've got this beautiful product that they've helped you design, you've helped them come up with this inspiration of an amazing piece. They walk out and they feel fantastic.
Yes.
Like, how good's that?
Mate, it's amazing. And you know what as well? It's a business, I think, that's very unique. A lot of businesses are a short-term business. Jewelry is the ultimate long-term business.
Yeah.
I've still got things in my safe that I've called a client 10 times over the last 14 years, there's still a repair to pick up. Any other jeweler watching this will attest to that.
Yeah.
I've had clients who have come in who have been, I've done an engage ring for them, and that marriage unfortunately hasn't worked out, and they've found a new partner. Great. That's life stuff.
Yeah.
I've met the most amazing amount of people through this business, and it is all encompassing for the rest of my life. Like they will wheel me out of this joint, hopefully at an old age. Seriously. Think about the client. Don't think about yourself. Think about the person who's in front of you.
Client.
Think about them. Really think about them. They're at home having it with a family, with friends, think about them.
Yep.
Think about serving them. Forget your ego. Forget about you. Think about your customer, the person who you are serving, and serve them to the best of your ability.
Nick, this is normally the point in the interview where I would shake your hand and say thanks so much, but I actually want to give you a cuddle. Is that okay?
Let's go.
Is that okay? Thanks, man.
How good.